Steve O,
Yo, yo.
Big Q, what it do?
What up, Kev?
Hey man, we got breaking news. The Chicago Bears say happy trails to Khalil Herbert because Shane Waldron don't know how to use him. That's not a shocker. And then we also got the Chicago Bulls losing to the last team that didn't have a win in the Utah Jazz last night. We also got a little bit of news from the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox. We're gonna get into it right after the intro. All right. Good morning, Chicago sports fans. Welcome to another episode of Shoptown Sports Central with your hosts here, Big Kev, Q, and Steve O Speaks. We are in the building on this election Tuesday. I ain't gonna tell you who to vote for, but just go out and vote, man. It's more than just about the president. You want to have a good attorney general, governor, senate, all that good stuff, man. Go ahead out there. Hey, you know what's crazy? They asked questions about judges. I was like, I don't like judges. All that. Nope, 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 nope. I don't even know their names, G. But what's up, fellas?
Man, what's good, man?
Not much. Trying to stay awake, on this election day.
Hey, I know one thing that's good. Khalil Herbert feeling good to get out of what could be a sinking ship. I mean, it's not like the Cincinnati Bengals are that much better than the Chicago Bears, but they're probably not as in as much turmoil right now. The Chicago Bears, at least perception wise, the coaching staff seems to be losing the roster. The offensive coordinator don't know how to run this offense. Caleb Williams is getting hit every time he's dropped back. One out of every two times he getting chased around. It's looking like the same old Bears, but they've decided to trade Khalil Herbert to the Cincinnati Bengals for a seventh round pick. And that's just crazy. And you know what Khalil Herbert said immediately? Thank God. With the prayer hand emojis on his Twitter account. He was a 6th round pick from Chicago Bears, so they pretty much get, I mean, at least some similar value in terms of the draft pick. But we do know that he is a very good running back that the Bears just haven't figured out how to use this season.
I mean, yeah, when you look at it, of course he happy. He get to see the field finally. Like, when you sit back and you behind two other people, you know you're not gonna play. Being able to go out, have a team where you know you're gonna get some minutes. I mean, I'm happy for him. Khalil's done a lot for us. He's always given us 100%. So hey, give him a chance. The Bears seem to be doing that. They seem to be trying to find the right spot for people.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad that this couldn't be the right spot for him because when he did come in and play behind David Montgomery, and then last year play behind who was the number one back? DeAndre Swift, was it? Not Swift.
He
It
was
was
technically the runner. He was technically the number one back after Monty left.
no, but it was another back that we had last year. Uh, I can't think of his name. He only played here one season, but
Oh, Deontay Foreman.
Deontay Foreman. There you go. Deontay Foreman and him, they both had pretty solid seasons along with Justin Fields. And frankly, that's really how the running game was good, was because of Justin Fields. He was running around out there. They had to account for him as well as the rest of the guys. And Khalil Herbert just did not fit into Shane Waldron's plans. And just like Cole Kmet doesn't fit into Shane Waldron's plans. And that's why I just don't understand, the signing of Shane Waldron from Ryan Poles. At least you give Cole Kmet that contract extension, and then you go out and get an offensive coordinator who doesn't use tight ends. It's just another questionable decision that kind of flew under the radar for Ryan Poles right now. It's just not looking good.
I mean, I don't know. This one looks so bad. It's a running back, and it was a running back that was never going to be our number one bell cow type of running back. He was a scat back, and even then, he wasn't the same type of running back until since Monty was here, and ever since Monty left, he wasn't able to showcase the talent that he does have, which is to flip the game and switch the game up and get an 80-yard run out of nowhere because Monty had beat down the D line for the majority of the drive, and he just came in. They seen a new look, and he's off to the races. That's what he's good at, and hopefully that's what he can do with the Bengals. I mean, we wasn't using them, so I'm sure that's got a lot to do with us getting the seventh pick and not anything under that. he wasn't really going to do it. Plus, he's not playing. So yeah, it is what it is. Like we knew he wasn't playing. There's too many healthy scratches. I'm still don't know what the hell a healthy scratch is. So yeah, you might as well get some for him and move on.
That's true. That's true. Well, shout out to Khalil Herbert, man. He definitely was a Chicago Bear through and through. It. I didn't expect him not to play this season. I felt like the running back room was going to be one of our strengths with Swift, Roshan, and him. It just doesn't make sense that Travis Homer. Well, I guess it'll make sense because he did play for Seattle. So I guess that kind of makes sense that he's still on the roster, but he's not playing either. So it is what it is out there, man. Shout out to you, Khalil Herbert. Best of luck to you as you head on over to the Cincinnati Bengals. If you guys want to hear anything else about the Chicago Bears, because frankly, I'm tired of talking about them. So for the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot of Bears coverage over here on Chi-Town Sports Central. There's not too much else we can say, but of course, we'll be back tomorrow with probably some more stuff. With it's going to be Wednesday, and I'm pretty sure Shane Waldron or one of the players or Eberflus going to say something that's going to be newsworthy for us to dig into and give deeper analysis on. But head on over to Chicago Bears Central, where Hayes and the gang holds it down over there. Moving on to the Chicago Bulls. Over here yesterday, we said out of our mouths, do not allow the Utah Jazz to get their first win against you guys on your home court. And they went out there and let the Utah Jazz, with no Lauri Markkanen, no Clarkson, I mean, just dominate. Basically, a wire to wire victory for the Utah
Kev,
Jazz in Chicago.
Kev, I just got to go in for a second
Go
because,
ahead, bro.
as y'all know, I wasn't on the Cognac Boys live stream. I was 4 seconds from joining, and then something just told me. I think it was the Lord said, "Peace. You need your peace," and I didn't join. And it's one thing to lose to a team that we told you not to lose to because you was gonna give them their first win, but you let them motherfuckers score 135 points without two of the highest scoring threats on the team. Like I knew defense was be starting to become an issue with this team, but now it's a problem. It's not even an issue no more. It's a problem that you're allowing one of the worst offensive teams in the league, one of the worst teams in the league, period, to score 135 points. So yeah, like when it comes down to it, like did we see some good things on the offensive side? Yeah, we seen Io come in, step in, and do some things in front of Zach Levine, give you 25, 5 and 5 with 19 for 13 from the field. Defense could be a little bit wanted more. I think the story of the game to me was they didn't ride that high hand. I think Vooch could have had damn near 35 if he wanted to, and they just like they always do. No matter if Demar or not is on his team, they just find a way to take the ball out of his hand, which I look at the coaches at the end of the day.
Same thing happened in the Brooklyn Nets game, Q,
Yep,
with Vooch being, ready to put the ball in the basket. They're not really even running plays for him down the stretch. He's getting his money on putbacks, broken plays,
and
things like
trailing.
that. And it's just annoying to see because he had 15 at halftime, Steve-O, and it looked
Yep,
like
he
he
did.
was on pace for a 30-plus point game, and I expected them to at least, play through him. But in that fourth quarter, because the Bulls got to within two, where they tied it at the end of the third quarter, and then they gave up a bucket, at the end of the third quarter. They were trailing by two going into the fourth quarter, and instead of Billy Donovan going with the starters because they're coming off 3 days rest and you need to ride that wave. He put the bench out there to start the fourth quarter and didn't bring Vooch back in until like 4 minutes to go in the game. So it was hard to ride the hot hand of Vucevic, especially in that fourth quarter because you had Jalen Smith out there. And it just
That
wasn't a
did nothing.
yeah, I mean, he did hit a big three, but it wasn't enough. He's not getting rebounds. He's not protecting the rim. I think he did get a block late in the fourth quarter, but at the end of the day,
Yeah, they gave it to him.
it's a rotational thing in last night's loss. Q, how did you feel about that fourth quarter and Billy Donovan's rotations?
I mean, it's the same as always. Billy doesn't know how to play a team. Like I don't know what it is, but it seems like he actively makes the worst possible choices. Like every time he's like, "This is what could help us win. Let's not do that, and let's go do this thing." And I mean, what Steve said is true. Vooch is always overlooked, and it's sad. Like if you're a good coach, you're calling a timeout and going, why aren't you guys calling Vooch to come get the ball? Like you saw the Utah Jazz coach cussing out players with how pissed off he was. And that was on them being ahead. They
Yep.
were winning the game and getting cussed out for messing up. Billy, we're losing by 15. He's just sitting there chewing gum, looking at everybody, acting like, hey, well, we'll
With a
come
frown
back,
on
I
his face.
guess. Like, I don't understand what he thinks is gonna happen. I don't know if I told Hayes yesterday on Locked On. I have a small conspiracy theory. I think the Bulls players are doing it on purpose to get him fired.
I hope so.
At this point, I think they're just like, we just gonna do everything possible to just we not gonna win anyway. Let's just get you fired. If we not gonna win, let's make it look worse.
Because at the end, I kind of feel you because at the end of the day, it's just a lot of things you just don't do. Like I understand we sent, like for example, I understand we sent Montes down to the G League and we brought him back up due to injury, but 4 fucking minutes. Like at the end of the day, Taylor Horton Tucker struggled. I don't care what nobody say. How do you do 10 minutes? 20 minutes, only get 10 points. Like, like, bro. At the end of the day, like when it comes to Billy, like I've been said he lost his locker room, and people keep trying to cover up things. Well, I don't even say people are trying to cover up things. It is what it is. What it is. He got this contract. We don't. There's no sign that they're gonna fire him. So, but yeah, I think their best course if they want to get rid of him, just be like, I'm not playing. I'm not playing for real under this coach.
Pull a
And
DJ
and
Moore.
that, and that's what they look like the last 2 weeks. I'm not playing under this coach.
You know what's worse? Tucker, even though he didn't play well, played better than Patrick Williams. That says so much.
I trade that motherfucker for well he on the Portland. Matthias was his name?
Matisse Thybulle.
Matisse Thybulle. I trade that motherfucker for him at this point. At least I know I'm gonna get some elite defense.
Give me
Something elite
Felicio
from
back. I will
At,
take Felicio back. At least I had fun
hell
making.
nah,
No, at least I
no,
had fun making fun of him.
you watch your mouth.
no.
I got to
Uh,
make
That
fun
was
of Felicio.
no, that was the first motherfucker I ever seen airball a rebound, and I know that was
That's the point.
possible.
At
yeah,
least I got to have fun. I got to laugh at someone.
nah,
People
bro,
just makes me sad.
no.
Like, because he always does just enough to make me think he can do something.
I
And then he
think it's
lets me
just
down.
we had no business. We had no business buying into that motherfucker to begin with, and it has nothing to do necessarily with him. You don't draft a top four motherfucker, and he's a coming off the bench in college,
I mean, yeah.
unless he's a scorer like that, and
And
he wasn't.
not only do you not draft him, you don't sign him to an extension based on potential. That like drafting him was one thing. You take a flyer on somebody, okay, you miss, but you don't re-up, you don't double down, and that's where my irritation comes in with the Patrick Williams situation. It was a failed experiment going into the summer, and they decided to double down on that failed experiment and say, well, maybe we can go from a D minus to a C plus with this guy and give him 90 million in the process. I didn't like that. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's the Chicago Bulls, Chicago sports teams routinely make poor decisions um, up and down their rosters and financially and so on and so forth. So Chicago Bulls lose. I think they got a back to back coming up on Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday they play Dallas, and then they head back home for Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. Uh,
Yeah,
Yep.
so
exactly right.
it's a
Watch
back
us
to
win these
back.
games. Watch us win both
Yep.
of these games some weird Bulls way.
Well, it
That they
depends on Zach. I don't think Zach is going to play Wednesday, but he might be back Thursday. But the Dallas Mavericks have been struggling at the crib, so that there could be something to that. But if the Bulls want to win games, they're going to have to start to play through Vooch. And I know that sounds strange considering how we all felt about this team coming into the season, trying to play a higher tempo game. Vooch is bought in, but the players got to be ready to give it to him. And Kobe White got to step it up. He's been inconsistent at best this season, and last night was no exception. A couple of bad decisions, a very costly turnover toward the end of the game where he just whiffed on the pass to Vooch, who was standing at the top of the key, ready to shoot a three, and that was pretty much part of the nails in the coffin. Besides John Collins just out there catching body after body after body on the pulls, last night. So if you guys want to hear anything else about the Chicago Bulls, head on over to Chicago Bulls Central, where Hayes is holding it down. So we got a little bit of baseball news, guys. We'll just touch briefly on it because I'm going to be recording episodes on Chicago White Sox Central. If you're not following Chicago White Sox Central, you bogus. Go ahead and log in to your YouTube and follow Chicago White Sox Central. They just picked up a former Seattle Mariners, apparently fan favorite reliever, in Penn Murphy. His name is Penn Murphy with an F, Murfee. He has been claimed off waivers by the Chicago White Sox. He only has 2 seasons in the majors. His best year being in 2022, in which he did 69 in the third innings pitched. He gave up 48 hits, 23 runs, 23 of them earned, 7 home runs, 18 walks, and 76 strikeouts in 69 innings. Is crazy work. Last season, he was injured, so he didn't play much. Only 14 innings last season. He did end up getting 16 strikeouts in those 14 innings. So give the White Sox a little bit of credit for going to pick up somebody who could be serviceable as a relief pitcher next season. But that's the little bit of news right there, Steve-O. How you feeling about the White Sox scooping up somebody off the waivers? You say thumbs up. They also had Matt Foster and Jimmy Lambert both elected to go into free agency instead of being designated to assignment. So it is what it is. When healthy, Murphy is effective. He finished with a 1.29 ERA in 2023, and that was just in 16 appearances before he got hurt. But he was 4-0 in 2022 with a 2.99 ERA in 64 games, and he helped the Mariners go to the playoffs for the first time since 2001. So at the end of the day, the Chicago White Sox have somebody who could turn out to be somebody who's decent. And then over on the, if again, follow Chicago White Sox Central for more in-depth analysis on that situation. And then for the Cubs, you got the GM meeting starting, and Jed Hoyer is talking about the different things that he's planning on doing this offseason and what paths it would take to make a 90-win team. Me and Mike are going to be discussing the Chicago Cubs. Right after I finish recording this, we're going to record a Chicago Cubs episode. So if you guys are interested in hearing how we feel about Jed Hoyer and his take on the upcoming season, head on over to Chicago Cubs Central this afternoon. All right, guys, we're going to get up out of here, man. There ain't nothing on the sky. Blackhawks didn't play last night. Illinois started their basketball season and with a victory over somebody from Buffooville. Scored 100 and some odd points. Took care of business. So college basketball is back. It's going to be a lot of fun this season, guys, with Cooper
Women's
Flag.
is too.
Say that again.
Women's too.
Oh, yeah. Women's college basketball is back. Juju was out there last night taking care of business for the USC. So it's going to be fun watching.
Ajay.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun watching college basketball for women's and men's this season because it was a down draft for the men last year for the NBA draft. It's gonna be up. A lot of Ace Bailey, Cooper Flag, and a lot of
Yeah.
other guys
Both,
ready.
yeah.
And then of course
That,
the women's WNBA, you got well Juju can't come out, but you got old girl in UConn and Paige Beckers ready to
Paige
come out.
Beckers, yeah.
So it's gonna be lit.
Olivia.
It's gonna be
I
lit.
I can't wait for the Bulls to draft a power forward who's long and lengthy, who can sometimes play small forward, who's very good on the defensive end and has a lot of upside on the offensive end.
Sound like you just described P. Will.
He did.
I described P. Will, Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips.
He did. That's exactly you just described the Bulls' last 5 draft picks. But all right, man, we're gonna get up out of here. Thanks for all the love and support that you guys show us over here on Chicago Sports Central, Chi-Town Sports Central. If you want to follow any of your favorite Chicago teams through this network, just type in the team name and put Central afterwards, and you'll find our individual pages for those teams. All right, we're gonna holler at you all next time. Peace.